Morning intuitives. If you haven't watched my last video, I think you all understand why my videos have been sporadic for about the last week. Check out my last video to find why. And I just have a lot of stuff to do. My mother's dead. I'm the executor of the estate. My younger brother's a man-child, so funeral directors, luncheons, coroner's office, notifying people, all over the place, getting a hold of my family in Italy. I don't have a death certificate yet, so there's a lot I can't do yet. Getting a hold of the estate attorney, all that. So, I am inundated with her final arrangements because she died suddenly of an overdose. So none of this was planned. So, I have to do all this on the fly. So for the next couple weeks, my videos will be more sporadic as I just don't have the time. I really appreciate all, the wishes I got from all of you, and especially all the new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Please pass on the channel to others. Continue to help this channel grow, reach more people, help more people with these topics, some of which are, topics that other people who do channels like mine won't talk about. As I said, newer videos will be sporadic. If you're new to the channel, please go back and check out some of my older videos. It's weird. Some of my favorite videos don't get many views. View being the edge of the coin. I have two videos about being the edge of the coin. Watch both of them. I like them. They're about my personal philosophy, and it makes sense. So yeah, please check out the older videos. What I want to get into today is why it's important to call out a narcissist. I did a video about why INFJs are good at it, but this is an INFJ video. It's a narcissism video. And they've been doing well lately. So what I want to talk about is why it's important to call out the narcissist. So one of the biggest things with narcissistic abuse, especially, I'm in my 30s, people of our age group, is that when we were younger, when we were kids, nobody really knew what narcissism was. It wasn't really talked about or understood at all till about 10 years ago, and it's still not fully understood now. So growing up, if you had narcissistic parents or a narcissistic family, you knew something was wrong. You knew something wasn't normal, especially when you saw like your friends' families and stuff, how they interacted. But you didn't know how to put it in the words. You knew it wasn't normal, but it was something was wrong, but you couldn't put it in the words. You couldn't explain it. Certainly nobody else would understand it if you tried, and you thought you were the only one. Nowadays, we know that's not the case. Cluster B personalities are spoken about, NPD, BPD, histrionic, so it's important for us that have been through it and people who've been through narcissistic relationships to get that information out there, because remember the position you were in before you knew what narcissism was, before you knew what you were going through, before you knew tactics like slander, manipulation, gaslighting, covert narcissistic abuse, flying monkeys, enablers, things of that nature. Remember how you felt before you knew any of that. And you felt like there was nothing you could do, that nobody would understand. They'd think you were crazy. Projection, because narcissists are big on that. Whatever they're expressing, you know that they're crazy. You know they're fucked up. But when you try to explain it, no, it's you who have the problem. It's always the target, because the narcissist will do what the narcissist wants. There are no rules. There are no boundaries. It's about them getting their supply, them getting what they want at all costs. Whoever stands in their way will be destroyed at all costs, and the collateral damage doesn't matter. So it's important to speak up about that, for a bunch of different reasons, some of which I've gone over before, but I want to explain it better. So calling out a narcissist will expose them. That is the thing they fear the most, for people ripping that mask off, people being able to see who and what they really are. People knowing, because they think they fool everybody. And some narcissists are better than others. Borderlines do not fool many people at all. They think they do, but they don't. Most people can see right through a borderline in 10 minutes. People are telling me how they knew about my mother now. Of course, they didn't, say anything to me all those years. It's like, so you failed me. You knew what was going on, but you didn't do nothing because you're cowards. Do not be a coward. So borderlines, people see through them, but people fear them. Borderlines unlike people with NPD, do not get their way by, usually not by gaslighting, going behind people's back. They'll slander and badmouth and make, try to say that the target's crazy, but they'll do it in their, ragey, borderline, freak out way. That's how borderlines get their way, by sheer will alone and fear of a freak out, because people don't want to deal with it, and they'll do it publicly. People don't want to deal with a borderline's meltdown, the histrionics, the threatening to hurt themselves, the woe is me, pity, 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 because borderlines get off on pity and manipulation. They're best drugs. So, that's how they get their way. And it's important to call that out. It's important to let people know, like, no, that's who they are. They're not acting like that because they have it so bad. The slightest little inconvenience of a borderline not having their way will send them into that meltdown state. If you dealt with a borderline, I'm right. And it's important to let people know that, so that, one, they're not able to slander you. So they're not able to try to project you as the problem and turn people against you. Two, so people know who they really are and what their issue is. Then they might understand. Three, people know who they are. And if people understand what the borderline's issue is, what borderline personality disorder is, could make it harder for them to hurt other people, because people will look into it. People will know at least a passing knowledge of it and be like, oh, that's why they're doing that. This is what they do, and they'll know, like, oh, I can't take them at their word. They over exaggerate and they go for pity and histrionics. Like, that's not who I go to want to know what really is going on. And do it for yourself too. If you're a victim of a borderline or a narcissist, it feels good to expose them. It feels good to let others know the truth, to let others know, like, see, everything I told you all those years was true. This is who they really are. Now you know. Yeah, now you know, and now you probably feel guilty for not believing it, or for enabling it, or for turning a blind eye to it all those years. And the more borderlines and narcissists we expose, the better understood this is, the more this stuff gets out into the public, and the harder it becomes for them to abuse other people, because the more it gets out there, and the more people know, the more well-known it becomes, we will truly make borderline and narcissists a pejorative. They won't be able to prey on you or those you care about, and especially prey on those who they fool or who they make fear. And that's usually like the sweetest people out there that are pushovers, like ENFJs. Narcissists love them. I did a video on it, why narcissists target ENFJs, because they're easy targets for them. They're empathetic, they're submissive, they're pushovers, they fear confrontation, they're people pleasers. Go watch the video. So it's important, to expose narcissists and borderlines for who they are, because by doing so, it makes them harder to get away with the things they want to get away with. And it's just time to end the manipulation, to end what they do, to make it so they can't continue to just use people the way they do, because the scars from narcissistic abuse don't go away. There are times you talk about it, it lessens, it becomes less and less of an issue the more you learn and the more you deal with it, but it doesn't go away. It's something that's with you for life, and that's something that people who haven't been through it don't understand, that it's like, it's not just, wow, forget about it, put it behind you. It doesn't work that way. I mean, yeah, it helps to deal with it, but there are triggers, there are times where that abuse comes up, and there's times when it does, where you're just thinking to yourself, like, how did everybody fail me? How come nobody did anything? Like, it's like, you people all saw this. Like, yeah, even if you didn't know what was up, you knew something was up, and you just turned a blind eye, because narcissists and borderlines will try to do that. They will always, always, always try to normalize the abuse, and usually their justification will be that, well, everybody, this is everybody. They think it's normal. They think it's normal because they think they're normal, and they not only think they're normal, they think they're right. Because whatever action they do in their minds, it's correct, because they can't be wrong in their own eyes, and they will certainly never, ever, 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 ever admit it. And they'll try to be like, well, you don't have as bad as so-and-so. So they'll basically say, well, even if this is abuse, there's worse out there. You should be thankful it's only like this. That's a typical tactic by them. And abuse is abuse, broken is broken, and we have to get that out there. So, We have to expose them, to let people know, make people understand, the general population, that what they're doing is wrong, that it's sick, and most importantly, that it's by choice. It's not like a schizophrenic or a bipolar who has a chemical imbalance and can't control their actions. What narcissists and borderlines do is pre-planned. They choose to do it. They choose to manipulate people. They choose to lie. They choose to gaslight. You know, all of it is to feed their own supply. It's not because their brain can't process thoughts correctly in different, chemical imbalances. It's all a manipulation. It's all on purpose for them to get what they want. And they're terminators. They will do whatever they want to get what they want, no matter who they have to hurt, no matter who they have to destroy, because in their mind, anything justifies them getting to their end game. And even if they're, no matter what their end game is, and even if their end game is another person that they'll destroy, a narcissist or a borderline will destroy the nicest person in the world just to have a fling with them for 6 months, because that's what they want. And in their minds, everybody exists to please them because they're the center of the universe. So be aware of this. I hope this video helps explain and gives people more courage to speak up about narcissists and borderlines and see how important it is. Remember, you can't change the abuse that happens to you, but exposing them may prevent them from helping other people, at least not as many. So everybody needs to do their part and speak about it so it becomes better understood, and maybe we'll learn ways to better deal with it. Thank you for watching these videos. Please check out my old videos. Please like and subscribe, help the channel grow, reach more people, help others. Trust your intuition about when it's time to call out a narcissist. Don't give up your integrity to protect the narcissist, no matter what guilt trip they lay on you. Truth is truth, and truth deserves to be known.